Yo, Revengeboyz here, another UU match, but this time with a bit of a twist. I'm on the opponent's point of view, as I had to delete the video due to some technical difficulties. So anyway, we start off. I lead with Flygon, he leads with Frozlaz. He's afraid of Stone Edge, he switches out into Sandslash. I U-turn predicting that into Togekiss, as I know Sandslash's special defense is not good, but I think he's gonna Stealth Rock. I switch into Shaman, but he doesn't Stealth Rock and he switches into his Milotic, which I found very, very weird. Why would you switch into Milotic at that time? So anyway, I'm like, F that, he's gonna Scald or Ice Beam. So I was going to my P2 just to take that, because it can take it all day. I decided to go for the Toxic, forgetting about his stupid Heracross, and now it's got the Guts boost. So now that's not good for me. So anyway, he switches out, which is Raikou, predicting me to switch into Dusclops, which was very, very good, because at the time I didn't know it had Hidden Power Dark, which was really, really weird. I was just like, Hidden Power Dark? What the hell? Some original set Raikou? I was just like, wow. So anyway, I switch out into my P2 again, as he switches out into Milotic, as he doesn't like the Nightshades. So he Ice Beams my Shaman, because I predicted him to stay as something, but I just fails. So he switches out again. I go for the Wish, as mine is a Wish Protect set Zatu. I go for the Protect. He Ice Beams, and obviously I get my health back, which is good for Zatu. Anyway, I switch out into P2. Traces Curse Body, trying to Curse Body the Ice Beam so that gets interrupted. I predict into Spikes, which is a good play on my part, and I bounce it back in his face. So goes for the Ice Beam again, Ice Beams again, and I know I will survive it because I do have some special defense investments, and I T-Wave his Frozlaz, meaning it won't be a nuisance in my sight very long. So I'll go for the Protect just to get a bit of health back. The Ice Beams again. So I withdraw my Shaman into my Porygon 2, and I get the Curse Body again, hoping that the Ice Beam gets Curse Bodied obviously, but that will not happen. And he gets a crit, which is just like, oh, he gets a crit, but I didn't get Curse Body. Come on. Anyway, he gets Parahaxed. I switch out into Shaman, predicting Spikes again, but he gets paralyzed, so I'd have no idea what he was gonna do there. Anyway, he switches out into the Cross, and I go for Protect, but it fails obviously. And he's racking up the toxic damage. Go for the Protect again, just to rack a bit more on that Heracross, as it'll be less of a nuisance in the long run. So I'll switch out into my Dusclops just to wall it, but it goes straight for the Mega Horn, and even though it's not very effective, it does a lot. And that's Eviolite, max defense, max HP on the side. What the fuck? Heracross is mental. Anyway, I switch into Arcanine just to revenge kill it. He goes into his Resto. Go for the Flare Blitz. And it will not do much, but I do get the burn, which I found really, really weird. And at the time, I thought it was an offensive Kingdra, so I was like, yes, burnt. It's not going to be setting up anytime soon. So I go into P2 and trace his Sniper, which is quite effective actually, as any of my moves will become a ×3 if they're critical, so that's not bad actually. So he goes for the Skull just to get a bit of damage. I go for Ice Beam just to damage him. And then next turn he goes for the rest, which is annoying, and I'm just like, oh, because every Kings will carry this. An offensive one carries it, a defensive one carries it, even some special attacking one carry it. Everything has, every set for Kingdra has that move. It's just so annoying. Anyway, I go into Togekiss. He sleep talks, rest, which is unlucky for him. I go for the heal bell to Mudok. Toxic from my Porygon 2. He goes for the rest again and gets rest, which is very unlucky. Oh my god. It's a 1 in 3 chance of you getting that, and it happened. Anyway, he goes for the skull and gets a burn, of course, because this world is against me in somewhat way. And now he can switch out into his Sand Slash. And I can heal Bell freely. And here's where stuff are getting stupid again, as the world is always against me. And that air slash, something that's 95% and it misses, and now he can just rapid spin the spikes away, which is stupid, really. So anyway, I'll switch out to my Shaman. Switches out into his Milotic again, which I found weird. Like, why does this always happen? Go for the Protect, Ice Beams. Switch out again into my Porygon 2. Not trying to be defensive and not offensive at the moment, just to like slowly like damage his team in somewhat way. He Ice Beams and I get haxed again because the world is against me yet again. I Ice Beam him and he gets frozen, but that won't matter next turn because he could just Scald and it will melt the ice for him. So he goes for the Scald. I recover. Let's get that health back. So the Ice Beam again, hoping for freeze. I go for Toxic to get that thing status and distracted. Goes for Ice Beam again. Go for the Discharge this time to do a bit more damage. Now the Toxic is he Toxic and it misses, which is good for me, bad for him. And I switch on to Shaman, thinking he'll do it again, but he recovers, which is just recover, no. So this is basically a stall at this point in UU, which isn't really common in UU. More like RU and NU that happens, but anyway, I go for the Wish. Heracross has just come in and he's fearing that I will stall it out, which I would have. I go for the Protect. I withdraw to my Dope Dragon from this Flygon. Goes for the Hidden Power Dark, which is going to do quite a bit, as I'm suspecting that Raikou's specs. So now I go for the Earthquake. It does nothing, as this thing is defensive and it has like 350 I think on 100. Yeah, it's pretty big. One of RU's biggest rules. But anyway, I go into Togekiss and he Seismic Tossing, which is bad. And that move is actually perfect for that thing, you know. So anyway, I go for the Air Slash, knowing that his special defenses are not good. And he goes into Heracross. I should have left this in to take the Mega Horn, but I stupidly switched into Shaman, and that would not take a Mega Horn well. And I'm thinking that is actually a banded Heracross. Oh, I just revenge kill it with Flygon with an Earthquake. He sends him Milotic. I obviously have to withdraw. So I fear the Ice Beam, which he does do. And yeah, that's about it. It's Milotic. I'm stalling it as much as possible at this point in time. And he sends in his Raikou again. And I go for the Roost. Gives me time to heal up the damage I've taken. And I go back into my P2, which is that extraordinary move. Goes back into his Restore. toxics me, and I toxic him. I know he's a rest set, but that toxic will distract him in somewhat way, as he'll have to go for a rest at some point in the game, and I could just probably flinch hacks that down with Togekiss. But I'll go for the discharge just to get a bit of damage on it. I withdraw the P2 into my Togekiss again. He sleep talks, he gets rest again, which is very, very, very unlucky. Man, I mean, one out of 3, and it happens like 3 times in a row. Come on. Anyway, I go for the Heal Bell. I withdraw into my Porygon 2. He Volt switches, and that's what gives away that Raikous are actually choiced, as they have that move. So he goes into his Frozlaz here. I'm suspecting to set up spikes or something, which he does. Now there's like a discharge. He's just setting up in my face. I go for the discharge again. Now he gets the cursed body, and that's gonna be bad. I have to switch out into Togekiss, but it doesn't take spikes damage as it is flying. Go for the Air Slash. Toxic damage will start racking up as it keeps flinching down. And he withdraws into Raikou, but at this point I don't care if it's a not very effective hit. I just want as much damage on that as possible so I can revenge kill it later on in the match. He goes for the Extraordinary, I go for the Air Slash. Extraordinary, that's extrasensory, sorry, wrong pronunciation. He switches in to Frozlaz and Death Fodders it, goes back into his Raikou, switch out into my P2, goes for the extrasensory again, goes into his Melodic, which I should have predicted at this point because it's fairly obvious, but I just didn't. It's lazy to predict at this point in time. I go into my Togekiss and he recovers, which is gonna pretty much delay me from winning this game. And he switches out because he doesn't like the toxic racking up. To his Raikou, go for the Air Slash just to get as much damage as possible on this thing. It's a nuisance in my sight and has to die. So yeah. Goes for the T-Bolts. I'll go into my Flygon here. Goes into his Resto. Go for the big Outrage just to knock it down, because I know it will take the Earthquakes very, very well. So I just want to get that thing out of my way. Goes into his Melodic just to revenge kill me. Go for the Outrage. It will not kill it, even though it has 194 defense, which is fairly average. But yeah, I send in my Banded Arcanine. It's just extreme speed everything out, so that will be the game. Good game, xAeonBlitz, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and that'll be Revengeboyz signing out. MC.